you mentioned fish, chicken, mutton, or goat. You didn't mention beef.
Oh yeah.
Why not beef?
Well, for us, India, the name India is English. Whereas in Hindi, also national language, it's Hindustan. If you talk about the word Hindustan, actually the word itself is not original by itself. We have a great big history of India. That is, guys probably go back. It's not before Christ. Guys from so many people from Persia crossed the river Indus. You probably heard about the river Indus. That's on the east of Persian border. You will find that. After crossing the Indus, they moved into Pakistan, and from there they entered into India. Since they traveled all the way from Persia to India, they were under the civilization of Indus civilization, and they were being called as Sindhus, because the river is called in Sindhu. The river is called Sindhu traditionally, but in English it is called Indus. You will recognize that when you read our country's name is in the Bible. If you read Esther chapter 1 verse 1, you will find India there. That's India they're talking about. India is Indus. It's the people that traveled from the Persian region to India. They were themselves called as the Sindhus, belongs to the Sindhu civilization. Later, they were called as Hindus. Actually, they are Aryans. If you talk about the family, they are from the Aryans. So, India has a lot of civilization with an inheritance from the Persia. They brought all kinds of the pagan religion into our country. And according to their religion, they consider certain things belongs to God. Like they see a star and they see the sun and consider that as God. And likewise, each and everything they find it something amazing, and they say that it belongs to God, or that is they worship that this is nothing but a form of God, or something of that regard. Is the time is up?
No, we've got 20 minutes.
All right. So, as they have all these kind of pagan practices, for them they have some tradition, some practices where they consider certain animals as sacred. So for them, a cow is a sacred animal.
A cow is a sacred
animal because it gives milk, and the cow and the bullock, they help the farmer to plow the field. So that is none other like a second mother for a farmer. So they call it as they call it this as a sacred animal. So eating a beef is a big time problem. You cannot eat beef everywhere.
So what was it like to eat your first steak?
Oh, I'll tell you what. Well, I was here for 2 years. In 2005 and 2006, when I was doing my schooling at Heritage. Well, I'm going to be graduating on this Saturday with my MA, Masters in Arts in New Testament. But anyway, I was here for 2 years, and all the time, brother, whoever take me over to the restaurant and offer me steak, I said, no, I'm not eating beef. It's not because that is sacred, because I haven't had a taste of that. Well, I was one day before I was leaving, I was about to go home. I have a friend in Mississippi, and that's the first time he introduced his fiance's family to his parents. So they were having a party there and just dinner together, so they invited me as a guest. So I was there, and just tomorrow I'll be leaving. So I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. So that's a 8-ounce ribeye. Yummy. I missed it. The day I arrived here, first thing I ate, 8-ounce ribeye. I cannot get the same thing in India. So. And at the same time, they won't eat pig too, because as the cow is considered to be the sacred animal, and pig is considered with the haired animal. So people don't who like to see the pigs wandering around in the villages or in the towns. Used to be the case, but for the problem of hygiene, just used to just kill them, and so people don't like if they learn, if people don't like you if they heard that you're eating beef or pig.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that probably in the southeast we eat more beef and pig than probably anywhere else in the world. We really like those things. Let's go to the next slide, Connor. Now this is your wife
Yes,
and
my
two
wife.
daughters. What are their names?
That's daughter 1, daughter 2. I miss her. These two are daddy's daughter. Yes, my wife. See, her name is Satyavani. I call it Vani. Vani means V-A-N-I. Actually, her name, if you translate in English, that is Voice of Truth.
What's that?
Voice of Truth. That's her name. Translated. And that's my daughter. That's her Tilly. That's her name is. I call her Tilly, and this is Willie, and she's 7 years, and this is 3 years old. And
what's your wife wearing? What is that called? That's kind of like
That's
a traditional Indian.
yeah, traditional Indian woman wear. That's we call it sari, S-A-R-E-E, sari. It's a long piece of cloth that wrapped around the body, and that's it. It's covered.
So if you go to India, you're a woman, that's what you wear.
Yeah, majority of the people they wear.
All right, let's go to the next slide, Connor. Now, talking about your country of India, you talked about some of the history. Let's talk about some of the present day issues in India. Now, this is in the city you were talking about, Visakhapatnam, which, if I understand, is where a lot of the military things go.
Yeah. That's the Eastern Naval Command.
The Eastern Naval Command is there on the Bay of Bengal.
Yes.
Is that right? What is this monument about? Victory at Sea, 1971.
Yeah, 1971. You know, Pakistan is our neighboring country. It used to be our friend, but after 1947, since then, it's our enemy or rivalry, whatever. And so every time they want to intrude into our country, kind of occupy the western part of India. That the place is called Kashmir. It's a beautiful place in the world. If you get a chance, go and visit that place. You can do all kinds of skiing and everything. It's a beautiful place, but they want to occupy that part so that they will have a lot of tourism going on. So in 1971, they tried to do that on the western border, and pretty much our country was battling on that side, but they have an intrusion onto the eastern border with a submarine. So with the help of China, our guys have figured that submarine and blasted. So that is where they called off the war. So that's 1971.
So Pakistan sends a submarine, you guys sink it, and that's what the monument's about, right?